Hello children, welcome back to English with Kashish. Yes, today we're doing a very interesting and inspiring chapter. The chapter's name is Louis Pasteur, Conqueror of Diseases. It is written by E.H. Carter. Actually, E.H. Carter wrote a book, and from that book we have taken out this chapter for you. Yes, the book's name is Pioneers of the World, of the Modern World. What all great scientists did for the modern world. Now, before we start the chapter, I'm sure all of you would have decided what you want to become when you grow up. You want to become an engineer or a doctor or a scientist or a pilot. But always remember one thing, we all have a social responsibility towards our country. Whatever you do, always make sure that you contribute to the society in any way, small or big. That's what our scientist here, Louis Pasteur, did. He was very dedicated, and he always wanted to give the world something. He was always ready to give good things to the world, not the bad. He was not inclined towards making bombs or nuclear weapons, but great discoveries which till today are helpful for us. You want to know what all he did for us? Come on, join me. Now this is the part 1 of the chapter. Let's start reading the chapter. This is the 4th chapter of your English textbook. Now, on the field of battle, in one of his campaigns, Napoleon decorated for bravery a certain tanner named Pasteur. Napoleon was a great fighter, you know that, right? Yes. So in Napoleon's brigade was a boy named Pasteur. This brave soldier had an equally brave son. Now this soldier was Louis Pasteur's father. Napoleon always used to see Louis Pasteur roaming around there, and what he did, Louis Pasteur, he was born 7 years after Waterloo. He was not a soldier, but he was a fighter. Yes, he was not a soldier, but always Napoleon used to see that how he used to behave there. He was a fighter. Yes. Now, what did he do? What was he interested in? What was he inclined to? His mind was always into something which is called disease. He fought disease. He devoted his life to the study of what we sometimes call germs, which men of science call bacteria. Now, there is something all around us. You would have heard a lot about germs, right? In this COVID time we passed, we learnt a lot about germs. We wash our hands carefully. Whenever we go home, we sanitize, we take a shower. Why? Because there are germs all around us. So, we call those germs. What do scientists call them? Bacteria. Yes. Now, bacteria or germs can be of different forms. They can be bad bacteria which harm us, or they can be good bacteria also which give us useful things like for plants or for scientists. A Greek word meaning little rods. Now, bacteria, if you put under a microscope, looks like little rods like this. But this is zoomed to 1,000 levels. Bacteria are vegetable organisms. They are little rod-shaped plants which exist in. Now, where all bacteria exist in. And what do we call bacteria? They are called vegetable organisms which are a rod shaped. Okay. So when you close your eyes and think of bacteria, this is what comes in our mind. They look like this. And where all do they exist? Let's find out where all can you find bacteria. The air, all around you. When a person sneezes, what do we tell them? Put your hand or take a napkin. Why? Because he is removing bacteria from his mouth and putting it around, all around in the air. And if you're standing in the close vicinity, you might also get it. So if your friend has cold or cough and if he sneezes, You might also catch cold, right? So bacteria is present in the air. It's present in water, impure water. Even the purest form of water will have 1% of bacteria. So it is also present in water, the dirty water of the stream that has the most bacteria. So if you zoom in, you will see so many of them. Yes. And in the bodies of animals, there are a lot of germs and bacteria in the bodies of animals. You remember a lot of diseases we catch when we eat them, right? Have you heard of all that? Yeah. And plants. Even plants have bacteria. So some bacteria might spoil the plants or ruin them, but there are some friends also. Correct? Some, but not all, are the causes of diseases. Some convert matter into food for plants. There are some bacteria which convert into manure, which give good things to the plants. So if those bacteria are present in the soil at that point, they become healthy and nutritious plants. Yes. So not all bacteria are bad, some are good also. This is what the scientist discovered, and he removed good qualities of bacteria and converted into discoveries which are still useful for us. Now, does the name rings a bell? Louis Pasteur, pasteurization. Yes, he discovered that. We will find out about all the experiments of this great scientist in this chapter. Moving on. Now, Louis Pasteur had a very busy and interesting life. He not only made some exciting discoveries about germs, but he was able to use his discoveries in very practical ways. Now, Louis Pasteur did not like to sit in one place. He was always running around to discover things which would help mankind, which would help his fellows, his friends, people around him. He was always running around to discover something which would help. He worked hard in his laboratory, which test tubes and all kinds of experiments. He used to love being in his lab. He used to spend a lot of time there, and he used to feel very happy when he used to discover something and help people all around him. So if you can see, he was always busy in his lab. Always remember one thing. Do something which is your passion, which you like doing. If you do something you like doing, you will wake up every morning with a new spirit. That's what he did. He always woke up with a new spirit because he loved doing what he was doing. But nearly all the time, he was working to help people who were suffering in some special ways from disease. As you can see, he was always busy at looking people and how he can help them. People who were suffering from diseases, he was coming forward to help them. He discovered a lot of vaccinations. We are going to learn about those in this chapter. He was a great person by heart. He discovered so many things which are still helpful for us. So if you can see how he is so helpful. Among the people whom Pasteur was able to help were brewers. Now, who are brewers? Brewers, you know how beer is made? Who makes beer? Beer is made in breweries, big breweries. We have to ferment the water form and convert it into beer. So this formation of beer was discovered by Louis Pasteur. Breeders of silkworms, how silk is made by silkworms, and cow keepers. Why cow keepers? Because how to make milk. Now milk should not get spoiled, right? How do you do that? What do you do for that? So that's where this great scientist came in. All of whom were 52 trying to carry on important industries in France. There were a lot of industries in France doing these different kind of things like silk, making silk out of silkworms, making milk and beer in breweries. So he joined all of them and helped them. Now, Louis Pasteur was always very, very proud of being able to help his country in this way. His discoveries have helped the country in a big, big way. And that's why he is remembered. Correct? So, you also want to be remembered? Come on, let's work for it. Louis Pasteur, born in a little French town, was interested in chemistry when he was very, very young. When he was very young only, he was always interested in experiments and lab and test tubes. After studying hard in Paris and showing great promise, he began to teach and lecture as a professor of chemistry. He then became a professor of chemistry because he used to love imparting knowledge. He used to love spreading knowledge, and he wanted all his children to be great scientists too. So he became a professor and started to teach. He became a professor at Strasbourg in Alsace, and he married a wife who was always to be his closest companion and assistant. Now he became very close to his wife. So whatever he used to do, his wife was always with him. She became actually his assistant too. Pasteur was deeply interested in all the new experiments that were being made in chemistry. Whatever happening around him related to chemistry was exciting to him, and he decided to solve some of the difficult problems that were worrying chemists and other scientists. Now what he used to do? He used to get in touch with all the chemists and scientists and ask them, what is it that is troubling you? Tell me, I am going to help you. Sometimes he used to sit for hours and hours, quite silent and motionless, thinking hard about one of his difficulties. Now, there was a problem which was troubling him. There was this one particular difficult problem which he wanted to solve. He would sit for hours and hours and solve that problem till he did not find the solution. He used to be on it. He was so committed to his work. He found this the easiest way to solve a problem. And when he thought of a solution, what happens when you find a solution? Happy you are. His kind, tired looking face would brighten up with pleasure and excitement. And what would he do? He would rush round to tell his discovery to his wife and to others who were helping him. You also do that, no? When you are sitting with a trouble or a question that you're not able to answer, and just when you get the answer, you want to run and tell your mama or your teacher that, yes, I got the answer. That's what he did. He had a baby in him, childlike baby in him. So he used to feel very happy when he got the solution, and he used to go and tell his wife and all the people who were helping him. Let's move on. In 1854, Pasteur was appointed head of a college of science at Lille, a busy manufacturing town in the northeast of France. He joined as a professor, and he was so hardworking that finally he became what? The head of the college. Yes, he was pleased about this. He was very, very happy about this because he always felt that trades and industries could be helped very much by the researches of men of science. He was very, very happy to come to this particular town because of the trades and industries here. He felt that science can be very, very helpful in all these kinds of industries. They are very helpful. His chance to be useful soon came. He always wanted his knowledge himself to be useful for others. He was always helpful. So he was very happy to come into this particular town. Now we are at the question answers, which will help you to understand the chapter well. Okay. Now the question answers start from page number 59. So open that page and do it with them. Don't worry, all the answers are in the app, okay? Question number 1. Louis Pasteur was not a soldier, but he was a fighter. We discussed about this, right? So what does this statement mean? Though Louis Pasteur did not join the army like his father did and became a soldier, he was a fighter because he fought various kinds of diseases through his discoveries about bacteria. So he was a different kind of fighter. He was a fighter in his profession. Okay? Question number 2. What are bacteria? What do you mean by bacteria? Which we see all around us and we are hearing a lot about it now. Bacteria are vegetable organisms, little rod shaped. Remember the picture we saw? Plants which exist in the air, water and soil and in the bodies of animals and plants. Okay? Some but not all are the causes of diseases. Some convert matter into food for plants. So some bacteria are good and some are not, and they are present everywhere around us. Alright? Now question number 3. As a scientist, how was Louis Pasteur unique? How was he different from other people? What was that very different quality in him which made him different from others? Louis Pasteur not only made some exciting discoveries about germs, but he was also able to use his discoveries in very practical ways. He could help many people running various industries in France. When he went to France and joined that college as a head, he helped a lot of industries with his discoveries in science. Okay? Question number 4, again page 59. How did Pasteur try to solve difficult problems? You remember, now if you have a difficult problem, how will you solve it? What was his way of solving the problem? Pasteur used to sit for hours, quite silent and motionless, thinking hard about the difficult problems. He used to think hard till he found a solution. Yes, that was his way of solving difficult problems. Question number 5. How would Pasteur react whenever he solved a problem? I'm sure you all know what happens to you when you solve a problem. That's a very easy question. When he thought of a solution, his kind, a tired looking face would brighten with pleasure and excitement, and he would rush round to tell his discovery to his wife, who was also his assistant, and to others who were helping him throughout his life. Okay? Now question number 5. What does this reveal about him as a person? What does this tell you about Pasteur as a person? What kind of a person was he? Now this particular question is on page number 60, so you can turn the page. This shows that Pasteur was sincere about solving problems and was very, very simple and childlike in sharing his discoveries with others. So there are two things that we can see about Pasteur in this particular question. Number 1 was he was not working only for others. He used to love his work. He was very passionate about his work. Okay, that's why he used to put his heart and soul into it. Second thing is, he was a childlike. You know, his heart was like a child. So whenever he used to feel happy, he wanted to tell the whole world about his discovery. Okay, so the 2 points, do remember. So this is where we end the part 1 of our chapter, Louis Pasteur, Conqueror of Diseases. I will meet you soon with part 2. So revise the part 1 with question answers, okay, and solve lot of points with the app. See you soon.